Hey folks, this is a quick look at the first assessment we did with genetics and reproduction and variation. Run through this. We did this in class. This is mainly for people who are gone for that. So first off, what is reproduction? I saw a lot of overly specific answers on that, things that only applied to either sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. But just as a general answer here, reproduction is living things making offspring. So parents are making kids, fungus are making spores, plants are making seeds that grow into new plants, living things are making offspring. What does inherit mean? This is to get traits from your parents. And those traits can be, say, recessive traits that don't show up in a particular generation. So it can seem like it's a trait that your parents didn't have, but your grandparents had. But realistically, the DNA is still in your parents. It's just not showing itself. How is information stored about your observable traits? Well, when they say that, oh, you have your mom's ears, you don't actually have your mom's ears. She has her ears. But you have DNA from your mom that programs or controls how those ears were built. So the information is actually stored as DNA. It is transferred as those gamete cells, sperm cells and egg cells. Number 2, face freckles are a dominant trait. Two parents are heterozygous for face freckles. Heterozygous means that we have one dominant version and one recessive version of that trait, or one capital letter and one lowercase. So for mom and for dad, we'll use F's for freckles. We have a big F and a little f. And so the gametes that mom can produce, gametes will have half of mom's genes, half for DNA, so either a big F or a little f, and it'll be the same for dad. So then we'll make a Punnett square. There's 2 possibilities for mom and 2 for dad. We usually do dad on top and mom on the side. It doesn't matter this time though, since they're the same. Oops. All right, and so in this Punnett square, we'll have 2 big F's here, a big F and a little f here, a big F and a little f here, and 2 little f's there. Incidentally, this one would be homozygous dominant. This is heterozygous, heterozygous, and homozygous recessive. Since face freckles are a dominant trait, we just have to have one capital F for our offspring to show face freckles. So we have 2 of them here. That'll be fine. One here, one here. There's none in this one. So the 3 out of those 4 potential offspring would have face freckles. For the next one, we have a polygenic trait. We'll start by figuring out gametes for these 2 parents. Just copying down mom's and dad's genotypes. Dad can produce 4 gametes, so we can have the first A, the first B, and the first C. Big A, big B, big C. We could do first A, first B, and second C. So that's big A, big B, little c. We could do first A, second B, first C. Big A, little b, big C. We could do first A, second B, and second C. Big A, little b, little c. And we could do the second A with all of those, but the second A is exactly the same as the first A. So we just get a repeat of this list. We don't need to do that. So 4 possible gametes from dad. From mom, she has to give a big B and a big C. So the only variation from mom is going to be a big A with a big B and big C, or a little a with a big B and a big C. All right. Next step is to make a Punnett square for these. Let's see, probably need a little more space. Yep. There we go. We'll put dad's gametes up top. and mom's on the side. Now, you don't actually have to go through and find the letters for each one of these offspring. All we really care about is how many contributing factors we would have. Contributing factors are shown as capital letters. So you can go through and write down the genotype for each one of these and then count up capital letters. I'm just going to skip right to counting up capital letters though. So this square right here, we'd be getting 1, 2, 3 capital letters from dad, 1, 2, 3 capital letters from mom, so we'd have 6 capital letters there. Big A, big A, big B, big B, big C, big C. On this one, I'd have 2 capital letters from dad and 3 capital letters from mom, so that's 5. Here I'd have 2 capital letters from dad again, 3 from mom, so that's 5 total. And here I'd have just 1 capital letter from dad, 3 from mom, that's 4 total. Over here, I'd have 3 capital letters from dad up here, 2 from mom, so that's 5 total. Here we have 2 from dad, 2 from mom, that's 4 total. Here we have 1, 2 from dad, 1, 2 from mom, 4 total. And here we have 1 from dad and 2 from mom, that's 3 total. The question asks how many will have at least 4 contributing factors. Well, that's all of them except this one right here. So we've got 7 out of the 8 possible would have at least 4 contributing factors. Now, just for some practice, I'm going to go ahead and work out the genotypes for each one of these, and you can do that and solve it that way too. I just want to make sure I have a complete answer key here for anybody who did it this way. So for this one, we get a big A from mom and from dad, a big B from mom and from dad, and a big C from mom and from dad. Here we have big A's from both, big B's from both, mom gives a big C, dad gives a little c. Here big A's from both, mom gives a big B, dad gives a little b, and big C's from both. Here we have big A's from both, mom gives a big B, dad gives a big C, mom gives a, big B and little b, and then mom gives a big C, dad gives a little c. Down here, big A from dad, little a from mom, big B's from both, big C's from both. Here, big A from dad, little a from mom, big B's from both, big C from mom, and little c from dad. Here, big A from dad, little a from mom, big B from mom, little b from dad, big C's from both, and last one, big A from dad, little a from mom, big B from mom, little b from dad, big C from mom, little c from dad. And so then we can go through and count up the capital letters, and we'd end up at the same result, 7 out of 8. For the variation side of this, give an example of variation within a species. Pick any species you want, but stick within that one species. So let's do the example of, I saw a lot of dog ones. Let's do cats. So variations that we could talk about with cats. They have different fur colors. They have different sizes. Eye colors. Let's see, I have 2 cats. One of them purrs really loudly. One's a quiet purr. So purring volume, there's probably some genetic component to that. So just any difference between members of the same species there. For the next one, what is meant by this graph here? Well, this is the type of graph we use to describe distribution of a trait. So at the bottom, it says we're applying this to human height. So height is going to go on the bottom, where over here is short, over here is tall, and in the middle, that's, say, average. And then on this side, we call this the frequency or the number of people with that trait. So as we go further up the axis, we have more and more people with that trait. So what do we learn from this graph? Well, there are very short people, there are average height people, and there are very tall people, but not in equal numbers. So if we had to make a statement overall about human height based on this graph, we'd say something like people can be short or tall, or average, but most people, because we have a high part of this graph, so lots and lots of people near that average height, not too many people on the short or the tall end. Most people are close to average, which makes some sense. You're used to seeing a lot of average height people. If you see someone who's very short or very tall, that may stand out to you as something that's different. All right, last up, how do new traits get created? We don't want to describe getting some trait from mom or dad here, because that wouldn't be the creation of a trait. That'd be passing on a trait that already existed. In general here, mutations are how new traits get created. These are just random mistakes which are made as DNA is copied. And typically, if you have a mutation that affects your whole body, it's probably going to be a mistake that was made as a sperm cell or egg cell were being created, or when those two were coming together, when the sperm was fertilizing the egg, some error right at the very beginning where your entire existence was just in that one cell. And that's how you end up with that DNA throughout your body, instead of just having one cell among billions and trillions of cells. We have your whole body then has that mutation. So that's it for this test. This assessment, we'll have another one on Thursday, so make sure you understand this stuff and check in about any parts of this you don't understand. There will be some extra resources available to practice.